Okay, in this short video, I will show you guys how I created the same effect, such as the Unreal Engine logo outro, and just going to share with you the settings and how the scene is set up, and so you can see how the whole thing was actually created. And basically this took me about 5 minutes or so just to set the whole thing up, and basically this is what we end up with. So it's just that, and bam. So you can see on the right screen in the perspective view, you can see that the logo has a small rotation, and so if you do that, you can see it's turning to the right, from the left to the right, and that's how we are getting the specularity and bump layer to come through on the surface, creating a small change on the surface diffuse shading. And basically also, if I then turn to the right here, watch the light on the top. The light on the top, which is a spotlight, volumetric light, is just pivoting slightly towards the logo, so that brings the logo into a more whitish color from a slightly darker color as light falls over it. And so that's basically the mesh animation and the light animation. And as for the camera, if you notice, the camera moves from the logo going backwards slightly, and we can see that we have 250 keys, and up to 160 is where the camera stops, locked in place, and then we just have some extra frames running. So now let us look at the camera properties. These are our camera settings. So we've got the soft filter on. We have max set to 3. That's our HD resolution, 1920 by 1080. We're not using GI or Monte Carlo, none of that stuff. And we are just using ray traced shadows and ray traced reflections. Okay, we are using the lens flare, the built-in lens flare, and we will check out the settings. We're also using volumetric lights, so that gives some type of volumetric light scattering. You can see the difference as I switch between it off and on. And if you go to general, if you go up here, these are our ray settings for the ray tracer, for the ray path to follow, and our shading and lighting sample quality is set to 3 and 3. So that's that for the camera and the render settings. Let's go to our light. So our spotlight is set up to affect the diffuse. That's our cone angle setting, and we've got 5 degrees there. We have ray traced shadows on the spot on the volumetric light there. We have it set to inverse to 9.5%. We just want a tiny little bit of light coming through, and we set the nominal range to 1 meter. Okay, ambient light intensity set to 5, and I've changed the ambient color to a bluish color. Alright, and now let's take a look at our lens flare lights. On our lens flare light, we just have the lens flare option, the light intensity at 50, and so it's affecting nothing at the moment, so we're only using that light for the lens flare. Our lens flare options are as follows. We have the flare intensity set to 46. We have central glow on, anamorphic distortion set to that, We have the star filter at 6.6, and we have random stream store. The settings out there, and we have envelope the flare dissolve because we faded off at keyframe number keyframe number 60. So if I just tap this envelope, all I did was clicked a key there, selected it and chose to up the value to 100%. And then if you go down here to the rotation angle, this is what gives the lens flare that little bit of rotation. And again, all I went was to frame 60 and just move the value percentage a little bit, and that's what's giving the lens flare the rotation effect. Okay, and then the movement for the lens flare from that place to where it stops is just a keyframe, a manual keyframe. So if I go here and I press T, basically in the camera view I just moved the light to that position. Okay, and that was it. So I just moved it from there to there, and because the logo is rotating, it gives you the effect that the light is following the curve of that mesh. Okay, so that's it. Now let's take a look at the image processing, and let's see if we have this in the background. Okay, it's not really doing much, but then let's take a look at we have the anaglyph stereo simulate turned on with the setting of eye separation 2.4, and we have the nodal image filter set to Asus Filmic, and that's the only thing we're running on the nodal image filter. And so if we quickly just do a scene render, this is what we are now looking at. So just under 10 seconds for this render at this resolution. And there is a texture on the back wall. If you can see there is some type of texture on the back wall. You can see the lens flare coming through. We also have the element feature turned on. So if you go back to the lens flare, if you go to reflections and turn that on and off, we have the 6-sided polygon element shape, element 1, and those are the settings inside there. So pretty much was like 5 minutes to set this up, and the output is quite convincing. If you look at it, it's really convincing, and I like how it came out. I did remove the 3 holes on the Lightwave logo because compared to the Unreal Engine logo, it's quite a lot more simplified. So I wanted to also simplify the Lightwave logo and make it look a little bit more cleaner and simplified, and so that's how we are achieving that nice effect. And just remember guys, this is only an i7 laptop, so on current gen machines this will run way faster. Okay, so it would be like almost instant. So yeah, I hope you like this little small Lightwave tutorial, And yeah, it just goes to show you that how you can quickly get something turned out of Lightwave. Okay, and basically the entire sequence for this video or this render scene took me, I would say, like about 17 minutes max, something about between 15 and 17 minutes at full HD with this camera setting and max samples set to 3. Okay, you could have also added on the nodal image filter another layer for anti-aliasing via the stack node, but yeah, I think for what I was doing, this was I was pretty much fine with it, and actually came out quite nice. So yeah, I hope you liked this video, and I will catch you guys on the next video, where I will be talking about how we can get Lightwave going with real-time CUDA rendering, okay, on the GPU inside the native VPR renderer of Lightwave. Catch you guys on the next video.